So, Mr. Sobotka, as the co-chair of the Global Battery Alliance, could you help us understand how important is global cooperation in a fight against climate change?
Well, climate change is a global challenge that requires collective action. I mean, the impacts of climate change, such as rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and sea level rise, they do not respect national borders. So it's a global challenge, and we have to address it as such. That's why we founded the Global Battery Alliance about 7 years ago. We now have 150 members. It's a global multi-stakeholder organization, including some of the leading Chinese companies that are members, such as CATL, Ningde, and others. We are working to build out a supply chain that is sustainable, a supply chain that helps deliver the Paris goals. And that's where international frameworks and international cooperation is so important. We cannot address this challenge as individual countries, and we need global cooperation. But of course, China plays an incredibly important role, as the previous speaker said, because China plays such an outsized role in the global technology development and the global capacity development and in the global deployment of renewable energy and clean tech. So we have to work together. China has to be an absolute centerpiece of that effort.
And technology also plays a key role in this transition. How can we further encourage innovation to drive solutions vital to global carbon emission reduction?
Yeah, that's an important point, because technology has made the renewable energy more accessible and also more affordable. The drop in prices for renewable energy have been around 90%, 95%. As particularly China has scaled up its industry. The electric vehicles are incredibly more competitive than internal combustion engines. So technological innovation has really made the green energy transition a possibility. And I think we will see more innovation. And again, that innovation has to be global. It has to be available for all consumers around the world and not be restricted to certain economic blocks. And here is China again as probably one of the technology leader on batteries, on energy storage, on renewable energy generation, and also on measurement system, on storage, battery storage, and batteries charging to grid. I think that's going to be very important and has to be rolled out globally. And Chinese companies will have to internationalize their technology and make it more available for consumers around the world. And that's where China will play an incredibly important role, and why China needs such an open market. And consumers around the world need China to be accessing those global markets, because only then will we be able to achieve the Paris energy transition goals.
And China is also pursuing green development of its economy. How do you see China's role in the global green transition as its economy shifts towards more environmental friendly?
Well, China has, most people outside of China will not know this, has deployed more solar panels in China last year than the United States has deployed in its entire history, and that's just in 1 year. There's been more renewable energy capacity built in China than the entire energy generation capacity of the African continent in 1 year. So the energy transition basically is all about China, and there will not be an energy transition without China. We cannot emphasize this point more. China is the technological leader, is the industrial capacity leader, is the deployment leader in energy transition technologies. And the world can benefit from that if it allows access. Now, of course, there's geopolitical tension, and that's probably not going to get, as people would say, it will get worse before it gets better. But the economic benefits and the benefits for consumers are very obvious. I mean, if there wasn't solar panels from China at such competitive costs, they would not be deployable around the world. And that's irrespective whether that's in China, Germany, or the United States. Because of its competitiveness, these products are actually have made the energy transition brought it into reach. And that's good for the world, and that's good for the carbon reduction targets that we've set ourselves as a world community.
Well, thank you very much for your insights. Benedikt Sobotka, CEO of Eurasian Resources Group and co-chair of the Global Battery Alliance.